say that Iceland is one of the most beautiful places on Earth, and you'll never be able to see anything like it anywhere else. But do they actually mean it? You see, when we got there, it went from windy to rainy to an absolute snowstorm.
We have to go that way.
Are we gonna be over here though?
We gotta go that way, bro.
We were in the road, like when I got out, that side of the road was just fucking snow. Like we're still on the fucking road. Bro, it's so pretty.
But things started looking up as soon as we saw that waterfall.
I think we're gonna get a little bit wet. Just a little bit.
And then we never looked back.
The first morning was going really good until Brian had to go back to the car, so. Should we talk about it in the video, or you just want to take a second?
But with the weather moving quicker than the waves, we just had to keep going. And let me say this, I've never felt wind like this before. After being pushed around by the wind for a little bit, we drove off to see what else Iceland had to offer.
We headed to the town of Vik, but made a quick stop once we got there.
Soon after, we found ourselves at the canyons.
Before we left, we took a second just to watch and listen.
We had one last stop to get to before we headed to the hotel for the night. Diamond Beach. It was just as pretty as it seemed in the pictures. After seeing so much in just one day, we headed to the hotel to finally get some rest. The next morning, we woke up with the sun and a tour to start the day.
Today we are on our way to Sudarlapaizukudur. We're on our way to go to a glacier hike. The day looks like it's pretty gorgeous.
After hiking a mile, we finally got to the caves. The hike was definitely worth it. With this being our last full day, we had to head back towards Rec. But of course, we had to stop along the way. was the last night of Iceland, and we still didn't get to see the Northern Lights. We were hoping tonight would finally be the night.
So last night we picked a cool Airbnb that was right out on the water and away from everyone. There was no light pollution. So we walked outside. The app that said the Aurora Borealis was there. They're like, you can see it right now. We ran outside. You can see this big stream that came down the middle of the sky. So we ran out and set up our time lapses. You should be able to see. Woke up, we saw this, and we are on the way to the Blue Lagoon right now to get a little warmer, get out of the snow, hopefully.
Dude, this feels so nice. I'll be back.
We left the Blue Lagoon and headed to the airport to drop off the rental car. We were really hoping the snowstorm was the only unpredictable thing today. We dropped off the car and headed to the airport. Once we got there, we quickly learned that you're allowed to get into the country without a test, but you can't leave the country without one. So we quickly had to make the last appointments of the day and had to hire a taxi. We quickly left the airport and drove to the COVID test station. Once we got there, we were locked in, had to give our names and our information. I started filming inside, and I guess you weren't allowed to do that, so I had to stop it, and then we just went right back to the airport just to wait for our test.
Refresh.
It was 4:40, and our flight left at 5. We still needed to check bags, get through customs, get through security, and get to the gate. We finally got our results and had to check in. We We ran upstairs to go get security checked, but then I got stopped for filming because apparently you're not allowed to do that. Then ran to customs, and then to the gate. Thankfully, our prayers worked, and we got onto the flight.
And remember to maintain good hygiene.
And that was Iceland.